Hello, Meow Mentors. It's Cat Lady Justin, and this is the Kitty Boss, where you pick, pamper, and protect your practically perfect pussycat for a lifetime of unconditional love. Today is a really, really cool special episode, and here's why. Because I found the most amazing products for my cats. These things are fit for human consumption. You can take this, it won't kill you. It won't poison your cat either. So I don't know about you, but you put the flea stuff, you put the stuff on the cat, and then you can't touch your cat for 3 hours. That's not really cool. That means it's highly toxic. Instead, now we have a whole range of products that are so good. They are amazing. So I've got one in my hand. We'll talk about it more as we go. So without further ado, let me introduce Adrienne and Jae from the company Two Crazy Cat Ladies. So welcome, my friends. How are you guys?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm terrific. Thank you very, very much. So it's really awesome to have you here because I've been waiting to do this for quite a while, because when our mutual friend from the Cat Behavior Alliance said, "Have you heard of that?" I was like, "No, what do they do?" And when she told me what you do, I was like, "Really? That exists? I don't have to poison my cats once a month with flea medicine and poison them with worm medicine once a month and not touch them because, oh my God, it's so dangerous. I can't pet my cat for 3 hours. I don't have to do that." And of course, the answer, as you know, is no, because you created some products that I could take and it won't kill me. And you can't say the same thing for some supplements. But anyway, that's a whole other story. So this is amazing. So I've brought with me one. I've got lots of them, but I brought this one because it's called Catalyst. And actually, I like to... when the course comes out, actually, it's a catalyst method, how to choose, adore, and take care of your cat, CAT. So it's the catalyst. So I love the title. I think it's so appropriate. And they're actually taking it now. So every day I'm putting some of this in their food, and, so far so good. It's having some really good results. And the one thing I don't want to forget to say is there was an episode where I was with Dr. Rachel Geller, the behaviorist and cat chaplain, and we talked about cat acne because Charlotte had some acne on her chin. So she made some suggestions about certain things to do, like swap out the stainless steel bowls and that kind of stuff. And I know you also talked a little bit about it on one of your lives on Instagram. But I also needed, I think, 2 days of just a little spray. And of course, I didn't spray the cat. It went on my hand and I rubbed it on her chinny chin. And, within a day, the acne went away. Like right away, the little black dots were gone. And so I think that's amazing. So anyway, welcome. And it's great. It's really awesome to have you here.
Oh, it's so good to be here. Thank you. Thank you so much for having us. We're excited to be here today. And it's late for you. So thank you for...
Yeah, no, it's no problem at all. And it's just, I'm honored and grateful to have you here because, again, it's revolutionary that you make these products because I've owned cats my whole life for decades, and I've always had to do this stuff for the cats that I never felt good about because the vet said I had to do it. And so it's really great to find, I wish I found you guys earlier, but that's no problem. There's, for example, there are companies that make various natural things and solutions for cats. So it exists out there. Like there's Pets Purist in the UK. They have various products that are natural, that are safe, non-toxic for cats, but they're not the same as what you guys do.
Right.
They're complementary, but they're totally different. There's nothing like Catalyst. There's nothing like the other products that you have, the Wormer one, I forget, Wormex, I think. And there's nothing like the Fleax. There's nothing like that, not even close. There's other stuff, again, they're good. So you're not even competitors. So it exists out there, but as far as I'm aware, nothing like this exists. So why don't we talk about how you formed this company? Like what gave you the inspiration? I didn't do it, and I'm obsessed with natural stuff. So you guys did it. So why'd you guys do that?
Yeah, we blame our cats.
Totally.
I will say, yes, and that was the main reason for us to start our business. So we started in pet nutrition back in 2005 with my family business, which was all about supplementation and alternative treatments for dogs, basically, right? It was pets, but everything was made with a dog in mind, right? And that was the majority of the market. And we had always had cats. And so when it came to our cats having an issue, a health issue, or, you know, just wanting to better them, we knew nothing. We didn't know what to do. So, so we branched off in 2015 and we started our own business to become that resource that we could not find. And luckily, from the 10 years prior, we had worked with a holistic animal scientist here in the US. And he too was a cat lover and a cat rescuer, and he was very excited to start formulating specific supplements and products to help cats. And so that there could be a market, right? Like you said, there are plenty of people out there or plenty of companies out there that make stuff for pets that are natural. And they're usually okay for cats, or they'll say they're okay for cats. But if you contact the company, they usually don't know much about cats. They'll just be like, yeah, it's safe for cats. You can try it on the cat. So what we wanted to do was become a feline specific health company so that we could offer stuff that people would understand. People would have a resource to reach out to and say, hey, my cat has A, B, and C, and have somebody on the other line that understands.
And the other part too that I want to add, because we all know how finicky cats can be, is that all of our products are all liquid. And we just added an awesome probiotic to our line, which is a powder. But for the most part, they're just completely fuss-free products. So it makes them more bioavailable, easily absorbed, and you can just add it into their food and not have that issue of trying to get something good in your cat and it being traumatic.
Finicky, yeah.
Yeah, and that's amazing because it's not just that some of these products that you can get on Amazon are, you know, questionable at best. You know, I've seen like little CBD products for cats and things like that. And I tried it once and it gave my cats diarrhea. So it wasn't something I enjoyed. Did it calm them? I don't know, because I was stressed out because there was poo all over the place I had to be cleaning up. So it's and I felt sorry for them because they had upset stomachs, obviously. So some of these products are questionable, and that's the thing that I think is really important to emphasize. But also, I think what I said earlier is that a lot of people don't really understand that there are alternatives. You don't have to use things that are extremely harsh on your cat. The cat's body is, you know, it's this big. Okay, if you have a bigger cat, sometimes a petite cat. But the thing is they're very much smaller than us. And if we can't touch the product that you've put on the neck, then what is it doing to that cat's system? And I like to say to people, as you've heard me say before, that, you know, if you get what we offer, and if you follow us and you do what we advise to do, from, you know, kitten to elderly cat, your cat could potentially live to 30. Because, you know, the oldest cat was 38. The second oldest cat in history, recorded history, was 37. So it's possible. But it ain't going to be possible if you're worming your cat once a month and you're defleeting your cat once a month with what the vet gives you. It's not going to live to 30 doing that, because that stuff is very, very hard on the organs of the cat. It's going to hurt you, so it's going to hurt the little beast. So I think it's really important to know that. But the flip side to that is that so many of these natural products are ineffective, which of course gives a bad name to natural healing and products, but that's a whole other tirade I could go on. But what's important to understand is that your stuff is effective, which is why I started with, I needed to spray one time and Charlotte's acne was gone that day. I did it for 2 days just in case, but it was gone the next day.
And
that is effective.
Did you use the Meow Mist for that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. The Meow Mist Plus is like, it's a hidden gem, in fact, in our shop. It's the least sold. Not a lot of people get it because they don't really see a reason to use a spray on their cats. A lot of cats are not, you know, getting harmed. They are not getting scratches and cuts and bumps and rashes and things like that. So maybe that's why. But we keep one in literally every level of our home and every room of our house, because we end up using it ourselves more than. In fact, I just used it on my thumb because I got it cut yesterday. So we use it on ourselves as much as or more than we use it on our
I was going to say probably even more. But I love what you said about the natural products, because I feel like there is that stigma of natural products aren't as effective as, that pill for every ill. You give a pill and 20 minutes later, you have no headache. I think it's so important for people to realize that a lot of times when you are, especially looking at those flea treatments and those wormers, that you're going to be getting a result, yes, but you're also going to be risking all those side effects. And the toxicity level that was required in order to deal with those things is really something that you don't want to expose your cat. You don't want that buildup of chemical toxins. I think that it's amazing when you can look at natural products and realize, okay, this isn't going to be a drop that I put on my cat's shoulder blades. I'm going to have to spray it on my hands and rub it in. It is just as easy. It's a different approach, but you're also not risking any of those side effects.
Well, and it's not always just as easy. In all honesty, that's what it is. A pill for every ill,
like
right?
Dr. Judy Morgan
in
says,
big pharma, that's what it is. It's, you can pop a pill of Revolution or something into your cats and it's going to protect them from fleas and ticks and heartworm and everything. Or you can, put a drop behind their neck once a month and it's just a drop and it's going to protect them from those fleas. When you're going natural, it does take more, right? It does take more effort on your part, which in turn builds a bond between you and your cat, a bigger and better bond between you and your cat, which we love about it. But it's not just like one and done and everything's good for, it's typically a user error if a real true natural product isn't working. And that's what we found, with the Fleax, when it's like, oh, it's not doing anything. How have you been applying it? How often have you been applying it? What's
the level of the infestation you're treating?
Right.
Yeah, but there's another side to that story, and that is that when you say it's one and done, it's easy, is it really? Because how many horror stories do you hear about trying to get a pill down your cat's throat? Number one. Number two, same goes for getting that liquid on the back of its neck. I don't know about your cats. You have more cats than I do, but mine don't like that process. It's a process that actually takes our relationship down a notch because they don't like it. So, and they can tell it's not good for them. On the other hand, I like to say, pamper your pets so you imprint on each other. So these actions that you take to adore your cat, to take care of them, actually creates the bond, but not just for the cat. It's not just thankful because you're giving it a massage. It's also you doing the action of caring for the cat makes you fall in love with it again and again. Because I can't emphasize this enough. Relationships experts, they teach that, if you don't create your relationship again and again every day, it eventually goes away. Same is true with your cat. If you neglect your cat, you're not going to bond with it. You're not going to feel the closeness to it. It's as much your responsibility as it is theirs. People think love is a passive thing that you just receive, and it's something that you have to give and receive. You fall in love with the person or the cat by doing stuff for it. So it's a whole thing, and relationship experts, of course, can go into the psychology and the chemistry of that. But I like to just use the bottom line, and that is really the bottom line as I see it. So let's take a pause real quickly and reveal up somewhere where people can get these amazing products. So I have created this link here, www.thekittyboss.com/2crazy, the number 2, CRAZY. And I like to spell it because, of course, most people won't be watching this. They'll be listening to this on the podcast. So it's www.thekittyboss.com/2, the number 2, crazy. And you can find all of these products. And I encourage you, even if you're not going to buy anything, to go to the website because you can learn what the different products can do. So there's a whole list on the back of the bottle here of what this is useful for. And there's even more on the website, like using it on your cuts, for example, if you have the Meow Mist, that's something that you can learn. And I think it's really remarkable when you have a product that's good for both species. I think that's really amazing. So thank you for sharing that, and we can get back to talking about the product. So real quickly, we have Jennifer Lopez. I don't know if it's the J-Lo, but she says, love this. Thank you so much, Jennifer. I love this because I think these are the most amazing products I've been looking for decades. And here they are. And here are the creators. So I love this too. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
I love that you brought in that relational aspect though, because I feel like, like Jay said from the beginning, we really wanted to do this, create this community and our products and our blog and everything to help be the resource that we were so yearning to find so long ago. And I feel like it's not just that though. I mean, we even say like everything that we try to do is so that we can love our cats back better. And I feel like that goes into everything. It goes into the diet that we feed them, the litter boxes that we give them, the amount of, like, there's so many things that go into, like, and we've heard you talk about before too, looking at your cat's world from their perspective and how we can best cohabitate with this beautiful different species of a being.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yes. And so let's tell me real quickly, just out of curiosity, how you came up with the name Two Crazy Cat Ladies, because that obviously doesn't reveal that you manufacture products, natural products for the cats. You could have called it Natural Cat. You could have called it Nature Cat or something silly like that or obvious like that. So where'd that come from? I mean, obviously you are two literally crazy cat ladies, just like me. I'm a crazy cat gentleman. So is that the simplicity of it, or is there more to the story?
Well, it kind of is. So yeah. So when we started our business as the Two Crazy Cat Ladies, all of our friends called us Two Crazy Cat Ladies. So it was kind of like let's just name the business Two Crazy. Let's own it. And
Right.
and there was a piece of us that also wanted to debunk the myth that if you are a crazy cat lady, you're single, old, wearing a robe, and your house smells like crap. Like we wanted to be like, we wanted to get, there's so many closet cat people who love their cats but didn't want to say anything, because still to this day there's a stigma around being a cat parent, and so we wanted to kind of dispel the myth, like make sure that people know that it's totally cool and totally fine to be young and crazy and fun and drink wine and love your cats. So
yeah, because I see you have your products on the bottom shelf, and up there's a lot of wine.
Right, exactly. We're winos. We love it. But we actually, in 2019 or 2020, we renamed our product line to Feline Essential, because we wanted people to understand that it is a serious line of products, right? And so our cartoon head and Two Crazy Cat Ladies, sometimes if you see it sitting on a shelf and you don't know who we are, then you might say,
It
is that
doesn't
really
scream
good? Yeah.
natural and effective,
Right.
But the Two Crazy Cat Ladies things too is also about community, kind of like what Jay said. It's just about, there's so many of us and we're all looking for how to better our cats' lives, or dealing with situations that we feel like there are no answers. You go to Dr. Google about something and you're going to be overwhelmed or afraid. And it's really just about that community aspect too. I think our community is one of the most beautiful places. Our motto is to learn, share, and grow. And that's what this community does. I mean, it's just amazing how many things we learn, and watching the empathy and the kindness in this community. It's a really beautiful thing.
Yeah. And what is it, Maya Angelou says that once you know better, you can do better. And that has been the biggest blessing to us as the Two Crazy Cat Ladies, is really learning, aside from our products, is that learn, share, and grow. And the more that we learn, we set out to learn something new every single day. And the more that we learn new things, the bigger bond we build with our own cats, and the more that we get to share with the cat community, so that they can also build their bonds with their cats. So whether it's like feed from a plate instead of a bowl, or whether it's
Get a bigger litter box.
Yeah, let's not feed so much kibble, and understand ingredients, and so many different things that we continue to learn. And it's just been the biggest blessing for us, because we've gained a bigger bond with our cats, a better bond with our cats, and at the same time a better bond with the cat community.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's really true. If you go to Google and try to find there, which is actually one of the things I'm trying to get across to people, is I'm trying to do for people, is to sift, sort, and separate all of that information, misinformation, and confusion that's out there on the internet and word of mouth, and omit all the stuff that's unnecessary, that's superfluous, that's questionable, and only present what works. So I'm not going to be publishing a cat book that's this big, because that's overwhelming and daunting, and people take one look at that and they think to themselves, wow, owning a cat's a real complicated, hard, and expensive thing, so I can't afford it and I don't have the time. And I want to kill that myth, because there are so many cats out there who need homes, and there are so many lonely people out there who need a cat, and I want them to realize that it doesn't have to be expensive, and it doesn't have to be super time consuming. There are the simple, effective things that you can do. I want to show you the easy way to own a cat, or be owned by a cat, whichever way you want to look at it. And so that's kind of like a mission that I'm on. But the other thing you said, something really interesting, and that is that there's a stigma with cat. There are a lot of closet cat owners. There sure are, because if you look at the market, if you do the market research, cats are the number one companion animal, not dogs. So it's actually remarkable that there's so much dog stuff out there and so little cat stuff out there, because cats are a way bigger market. In the UK, they became the number one companion animal, I think 2-3 years ago. I forget. I did celebrate it because I remember I saw the news. They have now surpassed dogs, and I was like so happy. It was only a few years ago, but it means that it was close before that. But now it's number one. The US, it's been the number one animal for a long time, many, many years. So it's the number one companion animal. So there's no reason to be in the closet, or fine, stay in the closet, no problem. But there are a lot of us. There's more of us than there are dog owners. And so I think it's really important to understand that, because there are more people that need cats. There are more people that want cats. There's people like that I know over the years that thought, again, they didn't have the time, or that it was too expensive to get a cat. And once I convinced them to get a cat and they finally got one, they all say the same thing. I should have done this years ago. It's not that complicated to get someone to watch it when I go away on holiday, or it's not that expensive. I don't have to buy the stuff Justin buys for the cats. Justin spends a fortune on the cats. You don't have to. It's okay, because a cat is much better off in a loving home, eating not the best, versus being in some kind of shelter. So I think it's a real thing. Do the best you can, but the bottom line is give it a loving home. And so I want to show people the easy way to do that. So not necessarily the rescuers and those amazing saints who do things with problem animals. That's not what I'm trying to. No problem animals. I'm showing people the easy way to do it. So that's cool. But anyway, back to the products, back to you guys and what you do. I noticed you have a hashtag Lady Boss t-shirts. So just to let everyone know, yes, that is where I got the inspiration for calling what I do the Kitty Boss. That is from the Lady Boss. It's she did it years ago in the sort of fitness and female empowerment industry, and I thought, well, that's cool. So I'll call myself the Kitty Boss. And that's kind of where I got the inspiration from. So maybe I need to do t-shirts that say hashtag Kitty Boss. I don't know.
I think that would be a big
I think
seller.
it's a great idea.
And I think what you're doing is so awesome, because I feel like the number one thing always for every cat that we welcome into our family is love. Like, that is the biggest, most important ingredient that we can share with these beings that we bring into our four walls. I think it can seem overwhelming. You mentioned, when you're going through Google or whatever, and it's like trying to sort all that stuff, you really bring up a great point, because the world of resources for cats is growing exponentially now. And it's amazing to see and watch. And even in the past 7 years, there is so much still to sift through, which is why we really do encourage everyone to always know their source. You had mentioned CBD earlier and that bad experience that you had with that. What a great example of something that is kind of like, just kind of spikes in popularity, and you have a bunch of opportunistic businesses maybe that are looking to make a quick dime on putting a product out. What we've learned in the CBD world, and we don't carry CBD, we have one that we recommend, is the impact that it can make on the entire system of a cat, the endocannabinoid system. I always mess up that word, but the amount of help that it can be, real actual help. And yet we hear so often of these terrible experiences. So especially when it comes to something like that, so important to know your source. Same when it comes to the foods that we feed our cats. Same when it comes to the supplements. Same when it comes to the information that we're going to implement. Where is this coming from? What does that mean for my cat? I think you're spot on about saying that, yes, we need to help simplify some of the tried and true truths of what it is to care for and love cats.
Yeah. And I also love that you said that it doesn't have to be that expensive. And it's true. We also, like you, we spend a lot of money on our cats. We don't promote that everybody needs to do that. There are small little steps that each one of us can take to help extend the lives of our cats. Did you know, and this is, I just want to throw this out there because you said that, but this science shows that by simply replacing 20% of that, kibble, whatever food it is, with fresh food. So stuff that you already have in your fridge, chicken, eggs is a power food. These things, 20% is all you need. And if you can get your cats to eat that, fresh food, it can reduce the amount or the risk of disease by up to 90%. By literally just a small, inexpensive, easy addition, boil an egg, give it to your cat. Like that. Even the longest living cat at 38 years old ate a kibble diet, but also ate fresh food, also supplemented with eggs and bacon and broccoli, fresh foods, and lived the longest life of any cat that is recorded.
Well, and I think he had an amazing cat dad, right? And I think Jake Perry, he also had the second longest living cat. And I think that does speak to the main ingredient of love and what it means to understand our cats, because, we say this so often, cats are not little dogs. It is not, people are like, well, cats are mean, or cats are aloof, or it's like, they're a completely different species, and they don't have human emotions, even though their emotional cortex is actually more similar to ours in our brain than even a dog's. They are very intuitive. I think cat lovers know that cats are super intuitive. They are very expressive in their own ways. And sometimes that's more of a behavioral thing instead of a, giving and receiving affection kind of thing. But every cat is an individual. So, better understanding our cats, I think, allows us to love them back better, and obviously makes a huge difference, not just on their quality of life, but also, I think, the length of their life.
Yep.
Oh, for sure. And cats, additionally, there's the science and the chemistry and the biology in all of this, but there's also the other side of the coin, the more, if you will, spiritual side or energetic side. There is something about cats. And so, I don't know if you heard this story, if I told it to you before, but there's the story of, there is a form of meditation that involves a cat, that requires a cat for you to be able to execute this meditation. You can look it up on the internet. It's quite interesting. But the story goes something like this, that how that came about is, I think 400 or 500 years ago, there was a monk who loved cats like I do. And so he, meditated with his cat. And people saw that and they developed a myth around it at the time, that cats have some special powers that can help you to transcend and attain, enlightenment that you can't do without the cat. They can speed it up and help you in that process. And they developed this myth. The monk didn't do it intentionally. He just loved his cat so much. So he meditated with the thing on its lap. And so that started to spread throughout monasteries and meditators. And eventually they'd all sit there with a cat on their lap, until one of his, descendant master, the master of the monastery, or whatever they call it, the lead monk, was allergic to cats. So he got rid of that. And so what spread then was that, well, wait a minute, actually, this is a bit of a logistics thing, where if we have, 60 monks meditating here, we're going to have 60 cats. So they eventually got rid of that idea. And it took about 200 years for that myth to be dispelled. That's how powerful the connection was. It wasn't like a quick, the next generation. It took 200 years for the cat meditation to go away. However, myth or not myth, because now we know that the cat purrs at a frequency that reduces cortisol levels, that lowers your stress. I mean, some universities have kitten rooms for the stressed out students. Never mind that they're causing the stress in the first place, but whatever. Here's some kittens. We're gonna stress you out, but here, have some kittens. But whatever. So the thing is that they have the scientifically proven now ability to reduce your stress, reduce the cortisol. And so now we know, and the brain waves and all of that kind of stuff. There's even a website called purr.ly, that has, you can just have, it's just purrs, that's it. And you can set it whether you want it brighter or calmer, or you can modify it, but that's all it does, is it purrs for you and emits that frequency. And I think it's pretty cool. There's also a cat specific musical tract developed by, it's called Ambiology Cat Waves. I have it and I use it. It's calming for humans and it's calming for cats. And again, it's based on the purr frequency, but then it has some calming music with it. But that's all surrounding on that frequency, and that's been scientifically proven to take that brainwave into the calm and to take all of those stress levels down. So 200 years to dispel a myth, and then another 200 years to reprove scientifically that in the first place it was actually true. So there you go.
I love that story. That's awesome.
It's so true. I feel,
But it is.
it's, everyone's like, well, my cat doesn't come up and love me when I walk in the door or whatever. But when you really do connect with a cat, they know when you're not feeling well. I know one of our friends just had a terrible case of like strep throat, and she was and it was undiagnosed, but she was like, my cat will not stop laying on my throat. And it's like, it's interesting when you realize that their cats are in a way just maybe a little more evolved than we are as far as being able to understand where their energy is most needed.
Yeah, a Reiki master. So Reiki, for anyone who doesn't know, is a form of, it was originated in Japanese, of energy healing, where they don't touch you, but they manipulate the energy as you are laying there. So it's really interesting. And I had it done about twice because it was very effective and I needed it at the time and it helped me. But for one of the sessions, Charlotte kept like interrupting, like jumping up on the table. And I was like, she does, what's going on here? And she was like, don't worry about it. Cats are attracted and they like to lay where there's negative energies because they're trying to help, they're trying to heal. And so I was like, oh, that's interesting. And so she went further and she said that the male cats have a tendency to hold on to the energy, and the female cats have a tendency to dissipate that energy once they've absorbed it. And that's why male cats have a little bit more health problems than female cats. Now, I didn't know that, and that was certainly an interesting look at it, but this is what the Reiki master said, so I don't have reason to doubt her, and it was certainly fascinating. And hey, I like to consider my cats magical beings, my little Pokemons, or my Patronus, if you like Harry Potter, like I do. So I definitely I'm all on board with considering them, magical beings and with these special powers. Or even if it's not magical, they definitely have abilities. Because I don't know, maybe I can't think of another animal, insect, or anything on this planet that emits a sound, a vibration, that emits something that is healing to humans. What other animal does that? I mean, your dog brings you joy. Granted, I don't dispute that. I'm not a dog person, but I like them. That's okay. But they don't emit a sound. The dog doesn't walk in or lay somewhere and start doing this thing that's actually healing for you. I mean, do you know of another creature that does that?
I don't. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind would be a hummingbird, but they're not going to lay on you. So
no, but I've never heard hummingbird frequencies are healing. I mean, maybe they are, but what I'm saying is I've seen scientific studies that show that the cat frequency, the purr is healing. So that's what I find fascinating.
Down a rabbit hole now, because now I have to know.
Yeah, I know. I think that you're. I mean, as far as scientific studies, I have never seen another being. No, never.
I certainly haven't.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So earlier I talked about, I saw your T-shirts and I was like, oh, that's where I got the Kitty Boss from, the inspiration. So can you, are you happy to reveal why it is that you are wearing those T-shirts?
We're proud of the fact that we're a woman-owned business and a family business at that. We actually have, so the O in Lady Boss is our feline essential logo.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so our designer made this for us because she's like, you're a woman-owned business and you're lady bosses and you're doing it. And so she made this for us. So that's
So
why.
it's not related necessarily to Caitlin and her movement that she has.
No, it's
Okay.
So when you said that, I was like, I didn't really even.
I didn't know
think
where it
I
came
knew where
from.
it came from. It was just later.
Yes, there's I forget her last name. I'm sorry about that, but Caitlin is her first name, I believe, and she started a whole movement and brand called Lady Boss, the Lady Boss, and it's in the fitness industry. So she would at the time when she started it, I guess, go on Snapchat and show herself doing physical fitness things throughout the day because she was a trainer. But that grew into much larger concept than just physical fitness. It just grew into any kind of empowering for women. So that's kind of a cool little backstory. But I thought perhaps there was a chance that you took inspiration from her, but it's absolutely a coincidence, which is just as cool, I think.
She apparently made it a thing because Lady Boss is just kind of something that we've always called, like a powerful woman doing something awesome. We're like, you're a lady boss. So she created the term.
I think she's the one who really put it out there and put it on the map. So let's remind everyone that we're here to talk about, honestly, the most amazing cat products. And yes, of course, they ship to the UK because I'm in the UK. So I had no problem getting these things over here. So and they're not just natural, and safe and all that. They're also good for humans. So it's nothing that you have to worry about accidentally. It drips on you and it's like, oh my God, or wash it off immediately. It's perfectly safe and actually good for you. So these things are fantastic. And and you can find out more at www.thekittyboss.com/2 So Too Crazy, because it's Too Crazy Cat Ladies is generally the company. And I think that's more memorable than Feline Essentials for a long little website. But let's talk, if you don't mind, what kind of products can they find there? So we've talked about the Meow Mist. We've talked about and how good that is for their fur, their skin. I cured Charlotte's acne on her chin with the Meow Mist. And you obviously helped with your cut on your own human finger with the Meow Mist. I currently am using the Catalyst, which is good for all kinds of stuff, both internal and external, from joint, skin, digestive, immune, and much more. But then I have a lot of other products. They're all downstairs, but could you walk us through maybe a couple or a few more, 2-3 more products and what they're good for? I think we hinted at something for worms, something for fleas, and let's talk about that a little bit. So if we get specific.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Well, we can start with the Catalyst because the Catalyst is our #1 bestseller. And we call it the Catalyst because it is the catalyst to overall health, right? It's instead of making a ton of different labels for this is for joints and this is for inflammation and this is for this and that. We just kept it simple. It's all in one. It's an all-in-one grade A supplement, human grade. It's a mixture of digestive and live antioxidant enzymes. So it's super great for things like joints. It's great for digestive health. So a lot of people say my cat stopped having hairballs. My cat's skin and coat got really great after giving this, not shedding as much. So it really helps to support all the organs. The pancreas is a really big one. I know a lot of kitties suffer from pancreatitis. And this digestive enzymes is one of the jobs of the pancreas. And when it's inflamed, it's unable to create the digestive enzymes. So that's why you get diarrhea and things like that. So the Catalyst helps to reduce the inflammation in the pancreas, but also replace those digestive enzymes in the body. So that gives the pancreas a break too. So it helps the food go where it needs to go in the body, basically. So it's really great for a ton of different things. It's our #1 bestseller for sure. Mm-hmm. A few other products, but you mentioned the Fleax is an all natural plant extracted formula that is safe for ingestion. In fact, I almost missed my mouth. We can spray it in our own mouth so it doesn't taste good, but It's that safe.
Yeah.
So it's safe if your kitties lick themselves after putting it on. It's a topical. It kills fleas, ticks, mosquitoes. We use it because we live in the desert, so we don't get fleas. So we use it for ants, and we've used it for roaches, and I've even killed a scorpion with it. And it's completely natural, so we don't have to worry about this bug spray we put around our house. Now we use this.
Yeah.
The stuff
Do you know what's interesting that you proved it by spraying it in your mouth is, do you know if you took a teaspoon of magnesium stearate, which is a compound that's found in actually most supplements that humans will take and most medications that you will take, or even some of the pills that you put down your cat's throat, if you took a teaspoon of that, you would drop instantly dead. And
Wow.
that's how deadly that is. And so a friend of mine went on with a manufacturer one day, and he says, well, I have a teaspoon of it right here. Here you go. And the guy was terrified. He said, are you insane? And he was like, well, what would happen to you? He said, I dropped dead. And he's like, well, why do you put it in your products then? And the excuse was, of course, it's like such a tiny dose and all of that. So we're like, okay, so here's the deal. Here's a cup of water, and it's, a big, big cup of water. There is one drop of my urine in there, just a tiny drop. Do you want to drink it now? He's like, no, of course not. Did the same thing and said, oh, there's just a micro dose of my feces in there. Do you want to drink that? No, of course not. So why would you put it in your supplements? Because even if it's a tiny thing, it's still either gross or unhealthy. So why would you do that? So they do it for many purposes. Usually it has to do with the machines that they manufacture with to make sure that they don't get clogged. So that's all it is. It's just so that it's something that helps their machinery not get clogged. Well, it's not good for you. And so they put it in there, and sadly, it's good for business, but not good for your health. And also it makes the supplement less effective, because as it makes the machine flow, it also makes you flow and usually pee out most of the supplement. So you don't put anything like that in there, because you're willing to put your money where your mouth is and go ahead and just spray that right in there, and you don't look like you're keeling over. So obviously it's awesome and safe. So thank you for the demonstration.
I mean, we do that at trade shows. We do it sometimes on a live just because people are shocked by it. And I think that just the truth of that should be a reminder to all of us that, ingredients matter. And just because it's something for your cats does not mean that it should be something that's terrifying for you. You know what I mean? I do want to say though real quick about Fleax, because natural flea protection is such a passion project for us. And there are a lot of natural products out there. What I love about this one is that this is a 4-ounce bottle. You can take 1 ounce of this 4-ounce bottle, put it in up to a half a gallon of water, and you can spray that all over your catio. You can spray it on your couch, on your carpet, on your cat's bedding. And that will help, especially when you're dealing with an infestation of fleas. And interestingly, a flea only spends 5% of its life cycle on your cat or whatever host they're on. So this will help handle that whole situation. Love this product.
Oh, that's awesome. So maybe it would be worthwhile investing in a whole gallon of that and pumping it into one of these industrial sprayers.
What's cool is that it does go a long way this way, right? Though you just mix an ounce with a half a gallon of water, and so it's making it go much further distance as far as being able to use it around the house and around your doors or windows or whatnot during flea season.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's awesome. And then we had a worm one. There was one that is a similar parasite. Let's get rid of the parasites type of thing. Wormex. I have that downstairs as well. So that one, if you could tell us a little bit about it, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So Wormex and Fleax are actually very similar as far as the ingredients are concerned. So both safe for ingestion, but they are a different proprietary blend, right? So one's a bit stronger and one's a bit more diluted. That doesn't mean that the diluted makes it less effective, because sometimes water actually activates many of these herbs. But the Wormex is an internal remedy that you can use inside your cat's food. But it is kind of bitter. So some picky kitties, you might have to put it in like tuna water, sardines or something like that in order to get them to take it.
Well, and to be clear, we were talking about natural products earlier, and a lot of people will take a wormer, right? This is actually a 5 to 7 day treatment. So you are going to be bonding with your cat for that amount of time, but also not dealing with any side effects.
Yep, once a day.
Yeah, and that's really important. You're not going to be poisoning your cat and shortening its lifespan. If anything, you'll be increasing it because it'll have less parasites in it. So, Paul, thank you. Meowsing products, he says. We have a few other comments. We have Roberto who said, that's interesting. My boy cats will get sick from stress faster than the girls. Yeah, I'm sure that refers a little bit back to the sort of the Reiki energy healing. And that's kind of the point she was making, is that because the cats are mini healers and they go and they try to heal or remove the negative energy, the boy cats will hold it and the girl cats dissipate it. And so the boys have a tendency, the male cats have a tendency to get a little bit sick a little bit faster because of that. So that could be the reason.
That's super interesting. I wanted to say that because that's the first time I've heard of male cats holding on to the negative energy longer than the female cats. But feline idiopathic cystitis, so reoccurring urinary infections, we deal with all the time, right? We have people reach out to us all the time that their cats are getting this, and you take them to the vet for these reoccurring urinary issues, and the vet gives them some kind of medication to take care of the symptom, right? But it just keeps coming back and it keeps coming back. Well, you do the research and you find out that it's actually related to stress. And the overwhelming majority, there are a couple cases every once in a while where you will see a female cat dealing with cystitis, but the overwhelming majority, as a 98%, are male cats. So that is
fascinating.
Very fascinating.
That is interesting, isn't it? And I mean, heck, even I have a hyperactive bladder, but that's a whole other story. So Paul Bear also says, "Oh Lord, what a shock!" regarding the cat gentleman just said. I've only just seen your comment. So if you're still watching, if you're still listening, if you can go ahead and comment again, what specifically was shocking? I'd be very interested to know what I said.
The teaspoon of the ingredients.
Yes.
That is shocking.
That is shocking, and and you should be shocked about it because it's probably in your supplements, not just with the cat supplement. It's more prevalent in what humans are taking. You go to the vitamin shop or the Holland and Barrett, depending what country you're in, and 99% of the stuff they sell has that in it, and others in it that have a similar effect. So it's tiny, tiny dose, but I still find it quite shocking that they would do that. So I'm very careful to find my supplements. So he confirmed that that's what's shocked about.
Yeah.
That what I ingest does not have that in it. And sometimes it takes a lot of effort to find that, but I always do that. So a couple more comments. Paul, we love that you're commenting. Thank you so much for interacting with us, and you're very insightful. So more horrifying stuff humans are doing to their pets. Of course, the two crazy cat ladies are just incredible. I agree. Just incredible. That's why they're here. Just incredible. Get it? But yes, I agree. I found their products. I mean, they created them, but I found them and instantly, went online and made a big order because I was like, I want all of it, So that was just me. And every day I learned so much from them. Indeed, I also do. So I watch their live on Instagram, and I learned something every single day for their little mini shares like that. So I agree with you, Paul. Roberta also said, she said this first. She said, I had to quit fostering. It was too hard on my kitty. Yeah. I'm the same. So I have Emily and Charlotte, my two cats, and I don't, as much as I want to, introduce fosters or other helpers or other cats in the house, just because they don't want that. And so while I might want more cats, they don't, and their well-being is actually a priority versus my, not well-being, but my desire for more cats. So for now, I only have two. I bet it was the poop in the water comment. Oh yeah. That one is also pretty shocking. But that my friend actually did that because he confronted on the news a manufacturer of products and also confronted a manufacturer of another thing that we use in our gardens called glyphosate. And the idea was, but it's a tiny dose, and it's not going to hurt you because it's on the tomato or whatever. And so that was his way of like making the point that it's a tiny dose. So I have a very bold friend. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, especially when you're talking about things like glyphosate or these toxic chemicals that we use or these little bits of things, it also, each person, each pet their detox pathways, are they working right? Is it just a little bit that's going to pass through, or are we building up a toxicity in their organs, in their blood? It is
right. Well, and let me give you a little story on glyphosate, because we're super passionate about this, because one of our customers and long time, like big first customer ever, she rescues cats. She has like 60 cats, and she had one outdoor cat, and her new neighbors moved in and sprayed their lawn with glyphosate, right? Roundup. They sprayed it to kill all the weeds. It ran down into the creek, and Jazzy, her cat, drank from that creek, and she went over and drank some of that water that she's just been doing for the 10 years of her life, and within 24 hours she was gone, because it shut down her organs by so yeah, it's
really
yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's Paul said, to protect the machine and not the pet. That there is truth in that comment, in the sense that that's why the supplement makers do that, but it's pretty similar to why we have any toxic substances that are hurtful to us. It's more a focus on the machine versus us or our health, and I think that's a sad state of affairs to be in. And yeah, of course, yeah, it has to do with money and the bottom line, and this idea that we have to always maximize the shareholder, whatever, and as opposed to, let's just be extremely profitable, but maybe 3% less than maximum, but actually do some good for people. And it's always frustrated me when I've dealt with companies in my other life in business, and it's like, I'm not saying you got to be unprofitable. I'm saying you're still going to make wild profits. I'm just saying you don't need to do that at the expense of this or the well-being or whatever it is, different factors. And it falls on deaf ears, because the contract they sign says maximize, and so they have to maximize, even if it costs you your health, or it costs whatever. So that's exactly you're spot on there, Paul. It's to protect the machine and not the pet. Be the machine's some edifice of government or whatever. So it's an interesting world we live in. But I see you have one of your employees there on your lap. For those listening, they might be like, what kind of business are they running? It's a cat. So what's the name?
This is Zorro. He's one of our Black Panthers. He has a twin sister named Friday. They were born on Good Friday 4 years ago, more than 4 years ago now.
2018.
Yeah. And he is obviously hard at work, doing what he does best, purring on my lap. Oh, here comes his sister now.
Yes.
Oh, good. So we might get to meet Friday. So very, very cute, very black cat. And wasn't it Black Cat Day just the other day, just yesterday?
Yep, this week.
Yeah.
Black Cat Appreciation Day.
So there we go. I don't have a black cat, but on my morning walk, I see a really lovely black cat named George, who's been there at a gate because I walk around this place, and then I walk past a sort of a business complex that's gated, and he lives in the gatehouse and has for 19 years, and they take care of him, and he's just the guardian at the gate, and it's so cute because he's a friendly, lovely old cat, and it's just the nicest thing to see. But I tend to be a cat magnet. I like to say, some people in my circle, you talk about the law of attraction and all of that kind of stuff and manifesting. And I say, well, for me, it's more the law of cat traction, because I seem to find all the cats, so it's like.
That must be us too. I like the way you said that. That must be us too, because we always considered ourselves actually dog people. We love all animals, but we were dog lovers. We kind of grew up with dogs. We always loved dogs, but then the cats just kept finding us, and it was like, oh, we have to take them in, or we have to help them, and we. To this day, we've still never gone to like a rescue to try and Friday. We've never gone to a rescue to adopt a kitty. They literally come from off the street, or in different ways. Like, this cat needs a home. Okay, bring them. So we're kind of the same way.
Yeah. So Paul says, look how healthy Zorro looks. A picture of health. Thank you, Paul. He definitely does. Don't know how old he is. How old is he?
He's 4 years old. And,
he's 4, so he's a young cat, but he still does look like the picture of health. Now, I have an interesting comment here made by Roberta, And it's very hard to get my cats to eat many of the higher end foods. Not much luck with home cooked either, but they eat most of the freeze dried treats. So, what I'd have to say about that is first of all, the bottom line, like we said earlier, is your cat has a loving home. And that's the number one priority, is it has a loving home. All the other stuff comes next. And so, okay, it won't have the higher food, it won't eat the home cooked. Okay, maybe there are other solutions that Jae or Adrienne might think of, but they eat most of the freeze-dried treats. Okay, so that's good. That's a positive thing. So we've got some positive in there, and of course the priority of the loving home. So are there any suggestions maybe we can have for Roberta?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, patience and perseverance pays when it comes to our kitties. People, think that dogs are much, cats are much easier pets than dogs. But when it comes to food, that's the thing, right? If you're wanting to upgrade your cat's food to a better diet, then we have to be patient and persevere in getting them, onto a better diet. And here comes Friday. That we have to, so sometimes we have to employ trickery. Sometimes, employ trick, not implore, not
also. We implore you.
Trickery, and sometimes we just have to, do our best and forget the rest. But every little bit helps for sure when it comes to diet.
It's true, but I do want to say, like, one of the things that we found was super interesting. We were just doing some research on this, is the business of palatants. And palatants are used in a lot of these super cheap foods that don't have really great ingredients. It's literally a spray. It's a multi-million-dollar industry where they spray basically addictive things on these pet foods for our pets. The trickery that we can employ there is that we can take whatever that kibble is or that wet food is that we're trying to upgrade to whatever we want as a healthier diet, and we can use a bit of that on the new foods. So they're like, oh, they still get that smell, they still get that, that feeling that they're getting what they really want, but then over time we remove that and leave
that's a good point. Yeah. And they do food industry is rife with these kind of practices where products are introduced into the food that are addictive, or that make you gain weight, or that make you eat more, or that slow your metabolism down. Because the strategy when these were designed was that, obviously you eat more, you're hungry, you're fatter, and you're addicted. So you are now the ideal customer. You're going to consume more of the food. You're going to consume only this food, and you're going to crave it, and you're going to want it. And we've got a customer for life who then eats more and more and more. And so they were done like that strategically, but they're not healthy, and they're definitely very harmful for your health. And so there's products in human food like that. So it's no surprise that there's products in cat foods as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. But Roberta, don't beat yourself up about it. Take, baby steps, as you said. Yes, baby steps. It took us 6 months of consistently trying to get one of our cats to transfer over to a new diet. So a good diet.
Great. So we're near the end of our time together today. So I just wanted to give you a chance to showcase and shine yourselves. Is there anything you'd care to say or ask before we end off today?
I'm like, I wasn't ready for this. Well, I mean, you guys can find us if you're looking to get more information on cats. We give out a cat tip or a Q&A on cats every single day, Monday through Friday. You guys can find us on Facebook, on Instagram, and on TikTok, and on YouTube at the Two Crazy Cat Ladies, TWO Crazy Cat Ladies.
Come here, baby girl.
Yeah, so whatever your favorite channel is, they're there. So I mentioned I catch them on Instagram. That works for me. And you can stalk them on any social media channel. They are omnipresent. So and their content is fantastic. I learn daily from them. So definitely do that. So we got one last comment. So Roberta, that works somewhat, except for Raggle. He will leave the whole saucer if there's a new food that offends him. So I offer the better stuff separately. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, you also got to know your cat. And like I said, don't be like we all say, don't beat yourself up. Take it easy. They have a loving home, and that's the most important thing. All the rest is also important, but secondary to that. So it's been awesome to have you guys there. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing your story, sharing your products. And by the way, there are a ton more products than we actually talked about today. So we talked about 3, maybe 4 products today, but as you can see behind them, I kind of zoomed in on the products and pushed you out. There are a lot of products for a lot of situations, conditions, solutions, and just for the enhancement of the health of your cat. So definitely check it out at www.thekittyboss.com/2crazy, and you can see everything that they have to offer. It's obviously, you might not need everything, but it's good to know what's available and what your options are, so that if the situations arise, you know exactly where to go to buy things. So I really encourage people to do that. So thank you again for being here, for sharing, for caring, and most importantly, for creating this gift to the world. I think it's phenomenal. Roberta says, I will look at your products. Awesome. Definitely do that. If you can afford them, go for it. If you can't, like I said, don't beat yourself up. They have a loving home. That's the most important thing. But if there's something that might help your cats, absolutely go for it. I have almost all of them, and they work. The Aladdin's Cave of products, absolutely. It's treasure. It's fantastic products. I have most of them, and it's just they're awesome. And like I said at the beginning, in one little rub of her chin, and then the acne was gone. And I repeated it just in case, but literally that it doesn't get faster than that. And that's not to say that, what's that disclaimer everybody says? Every cat is individual. Your situation might not be blah, 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 blah. But that's my testimonial, is that it worked for me. It worked fantastically well. So I think, even if it took a week, isn't that better than, suffering, or better than having to get some prescription cream that you have to wear gloves to touch because it's so toxic? I think so. And I'm sure you would agree with that too. So that's awesome. So we have thanks peeps, how plastic bowls can get, yes, exactly. I talked about that in a couple episodes actually of this particular podcast and show with other people. Plastic bowls can give acne, and we talked about why, but actually so can ceramic bowls if they're not washed extremely thoroughly. So the best option there is stainless steel. But sometimes, because you need the slow down bowl, because the cat eats too quickly, it's a bit of a juggling and a mystery as to what to do. But yeah, stainless steel is the most hygienic of all the bowls. And so you're absolutely right there, Roberta. So thank you again. So we've got a little bit over time. It's been wonderful, magical, and awesome to see you, to get to know you, and to see how you help us protect our pets properly for a lifetime of unconditional love. So Jae Adrienne, thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
And thank you for everything you do.
Yes.
You're an awesome kitty boss.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.